Hi, my name is Adam Namosky from the agency, and I'm here today with the co-founder and director, Michael Simpson, for a charity called Duchenne Australia, who's my nomination for our Best in the West competition. Michael, can you tell us a bit more about Duchenne?
Yeah, sure. So Duchenne is an X-linked recessive condition that primarily affects the dystrophin gene. For that reason, it primarily affects boys who only have that single copy of the X chromosome, and it affects, like, as mentioned, the dystrophin gene. So the dystrophin gene, best way to explain it would be like a shock absorber. Without it, the muscles have no ability to protect or repair themselves. Without that, it goes to chronic inflammation, which basically turns the muscles into, basically fibrotic scar tissue. And the life expectancy for Duchenne is usually in the early 20s, which is usually a result of heart failure or respiratory failure.
So what is it that Duchenne Australia does to support the community?
Well, to be honest, the scope of the work is really quite large. In a nutshell, our goal at Duchenne Australia is to strive for all Australians living with Duchenne to have access to the best evidence-based care and the best quality of life, and that's usually done through emerging trials, clinical trials, research and support.
So Michael, what would $5,000 mean for your charity?
Well, it'd really be quite important to getting our current set of initiatives off the ground, which we've got planned for the next year. We've talked about before, Duchenne is characterised by progressive muscle loss. So it's basically, for families, it's a constant grieving process of watching these young kids lose abilities at essentially what is a very young age. So our goal at Duchenne Australia is to have a fully funded mental health service for affected families of those living with Duchenne. Yeah, so other initiatives being looked at in the next short term is potentially funding clinical trial nurses in our hospitals, and of course contributing on with our core advocacy efforts at, which is basically at a federal level, and that's with certain government stakeholders and governing bodies like the PBAC and the TGA. And that's basically around expedited drug adoption, reimbursement, cutting red tape around clinical trials. So I mean, we don't have a cure or a good treatment yet, but when we do, we want to get it quickly. I mean, literally every day that passes, these boys are physically wasting away, and there's simply no time to waste.
I'm pleased to have nominated Duchenne Australia as the Best in the West with Channel 9 News. You too can nominate them and help raise awareness for such an important cause. Or you can nominate someone else you believe is helping the community by going to theagency.com.au/Best of the West.